Hello, everybody. This is Barb from joyfulpause.com. And I'm thinking as I just came on, as we're approaching the summer solstice and the full moon, which this reading is going to be about today for all of you. My website is Joyful Pause, PAWS, because I've been inspired by many animals in my life. Most notably is dogs. But they have taught me the power of pausing in my life and reflecting often, because we can get caught up in this crazy world and we can get all caught up in, our mind taking over. And as I'm thinking about the full moon in Capricorn, thinking about the solstice, this is really a great time to reset, to release, and let go of what no longer works in our lives. So today I'm going to do a little bit different with this reading. And first, I'm going to share with you some insight from the June new moon energies because I feel it feeds into this reading I'm going to do for you. And then we're going to look at the energies of the full moon in Capricorn and solstice and pull some cards around that. And I will also do the pick a card because I'm really enjoying that and giving you a little personal touch of a reading. And I will be picking an animal guide. So you'll have a chance to pick, again, number 1, 2, or 3. So maybe give that some thought as I'm doing the reading and sharing some insight here today. So it was recently during a gathering that a group that I'm part of, and a channeling that was done by an astrologer, Martha Alter Hines, where she was doing some channeling around the new moon energies. And as she did that channeling, I closed my eyes and just dropped into listening what she had to say, but also what was coming up for me. And what I saw was a spirit team, which most often is animals, but there was a new surprise in this meditation that I just am still really smiling about and just feel such comfort in. So I want to share that with you today. So what I saw during that channeling was the spirit team that came to me was lion, which represents courage, turtle, that I heard that nothing needs to be rushed and to trust my own pace. Perhaps that is a message for you too, that in this crazy busy world, it's really about trusting your own pace and what feels right for you. I also saw Wolf, which is one of my spirit guides. Her name is Leola, and she reminded me to stay focused on my heart's passion. So perhaps what is your heart's passion that maybe you've set to the side because you've gotten so involved with the chaotic world, or just in life in general. And then I also saw elephant, which represents staying loyal first and foremost to ourselves in order to be loyal to others in our life that we care for and that we love, just as so elephants so beautifully do. So as we step more fully into truly who we are and, really who we've always been, but, we've lost our way. There's also spider that has shown up for me as well that I feel is important because spider for me represents pulling back the veil and looking at the shadow parts of ourselves that hold us back, as well as what holds us back as a collective from moving forward. I'm really feeling like we are being called to not be afraid to start pulling back that veil and looking at those things that maybe perhaps we've been afraid to look at, but now it's time. It's time to slowly pull that veil and to start to look at that. And when I think of spider also, it's really about reweaving not only our personal life, but it's also about the collective web of creation. What are we being called to create that is new? And perhaps you don't yet know, you just know something is brewing, something's coming. We're going to go back to that turtle. Just go at your own pace and trust that you will be shown the way. And earlier that day of that new moon channeling that Martha did, It was either earlier that day or the next day. I feel like it was the same day. I wish I would have written it down, but I didn't. But it was very close within proximity of that time frame. On my walk, I came across this large jumping spider. Usually, when I see the jumping spider variety, they're a small little spider. But this one was quite large. And it's not often, just on the sidewalk, that I see a spider. So I knew that was a message to just another confirmation of spider having shown up for me as well recently with that message about pulling back the veil. But also, spider is about, for me, spider is about giving birth to something new. And I just feel that a lot of us are in that space of, we know there's something new, but we can't quite grasp it. So we're in this creation phase that maybe it's just marinating, it's brewing, even though we can't see it. And what was interesting with that jumping spider, it appeared to me that she was carrying an egg sac on her back. So she was going somewhere to give birth to this new life. And it was so exciting. So I just really feel that's a personal message for many of us, as well as a collective message about what we're trying to rebirth. What new earth are we trying to bring into focus? So, most significantly, during that channeling, I also saw ET. And perhaps you're around the same age as me, but in the early 1980s, if you remember the movie ET, that gentle, sweet alien who finds himself landing on Earth. Wow, right? And as I sat in that channeling, listening to Martha, and I saw ET, I saw a little spider resting on the end of ET's finger. And if you remember, ET looks up into the cosmos and says, "Phone home." And as I was, it was it struck me funny that I'm seeing ET in this channeling, and I'm wondering, well, what is this about? So I asked ET, yeah, I get it, phone home, I understand that, but what are you trying to share with me here? And then I heard, dial in to what is true for you. Dial into our hearts. Dial into the home that is within you. And the only space where we can truly find peace. We can't find it in the external world. We can't find it in external things. The only way to peace is to dial in. So I was I really appreciated part two, that there was this touch of humor with ET being showing up for me. And, because we can take ourselves so seriously sometimes and think so hard that we drive ourselves crazy. And here's ET, that sweet, sweet face with those big eyes, with this simple message to dial in. So now I'm going to step into the energies of the full moon in Capricorn, and also the energies of solstice, the summer solstice coming up. And this makes for a powerful energy portal for each of us to step into. And it's a time that we can really reflect on. We're almost halfway point of the year also. And reflecting on what we've learned so far this year, and then also how we wish to move forward for the rest of the year. What do we want that to look like? And we're also moving into the time of Cancer season. I know that very well, inside out, upside down, backward and forward, as I am a Cancer girl, being born in July. And Cancer is a sign of home, and it's also a very watery, emotional realm. Again, I know that well as being a highly sensitive person. I laugh, but sometimes it's quite challenging to move through. So perhaps you understand that as well. So the full moon is inviting us to look at, what no longer fits in our life, what no longer is working, what are we just, and you know what it is, you're just kind of sick and tired of it. Though, when you're uncertain about how to move forward, sometimes you just kind of sit in the sick and tired. But this is a great opportunity to look at that. Maybe take some time to journal, or go for a walk, or just be in nature and just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Because this is the month, this is the time. These energies we're in right now, this is the time to do that work. And really, it's about navigating what we want to release, while also allowing time to recharge our batteries and to recenter ourselves. And because we are going through some pretty challenging times on our planet right now, staying centered and finding an anchor point is so important. So I'm going to do the reading in a short moment, but I also want to share with you that I felt called to share. I saw this quote from astrologer Debbie Frank. And as we're doing this work of letting go, which the full moon is all about, and reflecting on, how the year has been, how we want to move forward, I love this quote from Debbie that says, "Don't go linear or logical when the heart is asking you to simply tune in." I just felt that was so appropriate with the message that I got from ET as well. So, as an example of navigating emotional times, I'm just like everybody else. I have things that I am learning and feeling challenged by and moving through and trying to stay in tune with my heart. I'm currently rereading the book Gift from the Sea by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. Perhaps you've read that book too. I make it a point to read that every year, early summer or into midsummer. And I'm rereading it. And the part that really, there's a different part that seems to speak to me each time I reread it. And this time it was this part in the book where it says, "Woman must come of age by herself. This is the essence of coming of age, to learn to stand alone. She must learn not to depend on another, nor to feel she must prove her strength by competing with another." So the older I get, the more I understand that statement, the more it really deepens into me, though there's times that it's very painful. And I'm just realizing that, my parents are aging. And it just really struck me that eventually, many of us do, in a sense, end up alone, though we aren't ever alone if we stay connected to our faith and trust in something that is bigger than us. But we are alone in how things used to be, and things change, right? So if you want to learn a little bit more about that or read about my experience with that, I did do a post on my Facebook page. I'll put a link below if you want to check that out. So circling back to ET, staying dialed in to all the emotions that we move through on a personal level, as well as a collective. And again, the world is going through a lot right now. And I know that's hard. It's hard for me sometimes too to not get sucked into that and drawn into. And I can tell when I've, taken in too much information, I've got to come back and anchor myself once again. So that's when I find doing readings is very helpful. And like I said, going for walks, journaling what I'm feeling, and sometimes just allowing that to come through. One day I just went for a ride and I cried. It was a big release. It was great. So ET reminds us that even though the world around us may change or seem way out there or beyond of what we can even grasp or understand, it's about coming back to center, to that home and that heart within us. And this is the ultimate space of peace that we must cultivate for each of us. And I know there's people in my life and, think that this is woo woo, or, how can that possibly be? But I really believe that if we can first start cultivating peace within ourselves, that will lead to more peace in the world. I just have this deep knowing about that. And I just really, really believe that. So I don't care what others say because that's what I believe and I feel. I feel that in my heart. I really feel that in my heart. So let's get to the oracle reading. So today I am going to use two different decks. I just dropped the cards. One moment, please. So today I am going to use the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette, and Reid. And I have 4 questions I'm going to pull cards for. I'm also going to use a deck by Kara Simons, which is Song of the Grandmothers. And let's see what it has to offer us for this full moon in Capricorn and the summer solstice. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what do we need to know to release fears, limiting beliefs, which is kind of the same thing, I think, that no longer work for us. What do we know? What do we need to know to release fears or limiting beliefs? So I'm going to pull a card from this deck. And I noticed there are 2 cards that were flipped the wrong way, so I'm going to put those like that. And from the Song of the Grandmothers, it is very warm here today already. We're supposed to reach 90 degrees again today. So I'm recording this early so I can turn the air conditioning back on. All right. All right, what do we need to know to release fears and limiting beliefs? White Raven Spirit, trust the magic. Wow. I think so many of us have forgotten how really amazing each of us are. And we have forgotten that we are each the magic in our own lives. And being in a white raven, it's, connecting into spirit. How do we release fear and limiting beliefs? It's because we've lost our way of remembering that we are part of something bigger, that there is this bigger force that is holding us, that is wanting the best for us, that we are a part of. And in order to release those fears and those limiting beliefs, we have to, and I don't mean magic in the woo-woo way, it's magic in the simple things. Magic in, I just think about this morning, after I got back from my walk, I watered my garden, I watered my flowers, I listened to the birds. That's magic. That is magical. And when I'm in that space, I'm not in a space of fear or these limited beliefs we can buy into. Oh goodness, we also have spider. I love it. We have spider and creativity. Let me show you the card first. All the colors of the rainbow. Oh, I love that it goes with trust in the magic. So trust in the magic of yourself, the miracle of who you are. And know that you can create whatever it is you want in your life and wish for your life. So the card says permission to make, spin your threads, your web, create everywhere you go. And creativity, I will always say, isn't about, creating, I love to create art. I love to work with oracle cards. There's so many things, there's so many ways in which you can create. And I love that it says everywhere you go. Because if we just create this space of peace within us, and we cultivate that, and we remember to be who truly are, just think as you go out into the world, you're just spreading that magic. You are creation. You are part of creation. That's what I want to say. So, let go of thinking you're not good enough, or you're not doing enough, or you're not worthy enough, because you are, just simply by being here on this planet at this time. This is a hard time to be on the planet right now, and the fact that you are here speaks volumes, because you're making a difference in your own special way. So what is the most helpful as we navigate these times of uncertainty, but that are also of great change? And I like to say, even though sometimes it feels like things are happening to us, they are actually happening for us. And I sometimes have to remind myself of that too, because it can feel like it's happening to me, personally. We can take things so personally, but more often than not, it's happening for us, for our highest good. So what is most helpful as we navigate these times of uncertainty? Let's see which animal we have, though we just had 2 animals there, raven and spider. There we go. And what is most helpful? And I love it. So we have elephant spirit, learn from the past, how perfect. What is most helpful of these times of uncertainty? Yeah, where have we made mistakes in the past? So when I say mistakes, I think sometimes we can take that as a negative, and really nothing in our lives are ever a mistake. They're learning lessons to see what we can change and make better in our lives. And I don't like the connotation of mistake, because sometimes there's shame within that, or there's blame. But really, we all come here to learn different things. And how do you move forward in life if you don't try things? And then you learn, and then you do it differently, and you take what you've learned in order to move forward in a better way. So that's how we navigate these times of uncertainty, is we take what we've learned from the past and we do it differently as we move forward. And then we've also got grandmother squash blossom. Love that it's yellow as summer solstice. And that, how do we navigate these times of uncertainty? And the messages are on here is harvest is coming, everything you want or need planted just in time. And it's also the abundance card. So it's about trusting that we are being taken care of, and trusting in that there is always abundance. I think that's part of a past limiting belief, is that we aren't abundant, but in fact, we truly are abundant. And it's, how often it is to fall back, how often it is easier to fall back into thinking we aren't abundant, but yet there's abundance all around us at all times. We just have to be willing to see. We have to be willing to see that. So the next question is, how do we stay centered during difficult times, personally and collectively? I really wanted to add collectively because, again, there is so much going on in the world. And being that I am a highly sensitive person, I I have to be careful of not consuming too much information, or it really can have a negative effect on me. So, there's not, I'm just going to give you an example. There's a woman in our area who's most likely being evicted from her home, and I just, it's not a good situation. She's got mental health issues, and the home is toxic, and there's a big cleaning out being done of it right now, and it just breaks my heart when I walk by the house the last 2 days as this is going on, and she's still there, and I'm just praying that, hopefully social services is stepping in and helping her. But how do I stay centered during that? Because I'm so highly sensitive, I just really feel into that, and I feel for that person. And it brings me back to something that somebody shared with me, that has been very helpful, and I have to remind myself of that. Perhaps this will be helpful for you too. Is we can care, but we can't carry. We can care. I've offered my prayers, my intentions, and sent that person lots of good energy, and wishing the very, very best for her. But it's hard. It's hard sometimes because you don't want to see people suffer. So, how do we stay centered during emotional and difficult times? Oh, I love this. I know I say this a lot, but you know what? I really love oracle cards, and I really love the reflections that they offer and the perspectives. That's how I stay centered and grounded. Is this all? These always help me. Oh, I love these cards. All right. How do we stay centered during emotional difficult times? We have Buffalo Spirit. Oh my goodness. The abundant universe will provide. I love Buffalo Spirit because when we are going through difficult times, personally and collectively, Buffalo reminds us this is about facing the storm. We can't get through a storm unless we face it. If we keep running from it, we're never going to get through it. So it's really about facing the storm and knowing that it is temporary. I have to remind myself of that times too, but knowing that it is temporary and it will move through. But we have to face it, right? We have to face those difficult situations. And then we also have Grandmother Wolf as the healer. And the message, let me show you the card. Beautiful, beautiful wolf. Ah, just touches my heart. Your howls are heard. Love. Your inner healer awake. Be brave and listen. This is so perfect. How do we stay centered during the emotional difficult times? We face the storm. We allow all those emotions to move through us. And in reality, we are our own healers when we do that work. When we do that inner work, we are the healers of our life. Nobody else can do it for us. So that's how we get through these emotional times, is realizing, when we're feeling stuck, when we're feeling emotional, to know that by working with those energies and working with those feelings and emotions, we can and we do move through them. Oh, I love that. And wolf for me is really about, again, listening to the passion in your heart. And if we keep avoiding the storm, we can't tap into that passion of who we really are because we're too busy fighting that storm. Sometimes we just have to face it and let it blow over, right? All right, the last question is here. How do we best celebrate how far we have each come, how far we really have come collectively, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like that because we don't always hear that, but we are making great strides in this world. So let's pull the animal card. And Song of the Grandmothers. So let me say again, how do we best celebrate how far we've come? We have otter spirit. We are never alone. When we're caught up in our own personal things, it can at times feel very alone. And the example I gave you before, realizing, yeah, at one point in my life, as my parents are aging and they are not going to be here someday. And that means I got to stand on my own, though. I mean, I've been making great strides to do that already, but it's just, it's an emotional thing to think about. And, but I do remind myself that the more I do my own inner work, the more I remember that I am part of this magnificent creation that is the earth and the world, and that I am part of the divine, and the divine is there always holding me. And I've had that experience where I really felt that. So I know that even when I lose my way sometimes, even when you lose your way sometimes, that there is a bigger force that is holding us and guiding us. So let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate and remember that we aren't alone. That there's earthly angels guiding us. We've got people helping us in our lives. We also have Grandmother Brooke and humor. How can we celebrate? Yeah, let's not take ourselves too seriously. So here is Grandmother Brooke. And how do we celebrate? We celebrate by when we come back to remembering about just going with the flow of life. There is such celebration in that because we just feel more at ease when we remember to go with the flow instead of against the flow. And then the words on the card are water changes rock, humming merrily downstream, laughter smooths the way. I will tell you, when I'm going through difficult times, one of the things I love most about my husband is he has the most amazing, wonderful sense of humor. And he can make me laugh. At times I don't think I want to even laugh. But I'm telling you, that goes a long way of releasing tension, releasing stuck emotions as well. Laughter and crying are kind of, it's a release of emotions. It's a welcome release. So that is the reading for the full moon in Capricorn. and the solstice coming up. So today's video was a little bit longer. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to put the animal cards back in the deck here. And so I hope you've picked card number 1, 2, or 3 for your personal animal message, animal guide for the full moon and the solstice. So the solstice is this Thursday. The full moon is Saturday. So, wow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do something nice for yourself. You know, yeah, just take it all in. Reflect, rejuvenate, recenter, re-anchor yourself. All right, if you pick card number 1, this is going to be your animal guide. Armadillo spirit. Set healthy boundaries. So, wow, as you are reflecting and releasing, rejuvenating, you might be pulled. You might be pulled from somebody else who needs your help, but maybe just delay that a little bit, or make sure that you have taken time to do what you need to do first to caretake you. And then you're going to have much more energy and you'll just be that much more helpful to other people in your life. So that is card number 1. You pick card number 2. Nightingale spirit. Oh, what a sweet, beautiful bird. Love is all around. This is your message to remember. Maybe you are feeling alone in your feelings and things you're trying to let go of and things you're trying to bring into your life, but know that you aren't alone. You are definitely not alone. And that, yeah, love is all around. You know, sometimes when we think we're alone, we think that nobody cares about us and isn't there to help us, but there are always people willing to help you. And love is all around, I think also speaks to, loving your own self. When we love our own selves, we can invite more love in as well. And then if you pick number 3, your animal guide is whale spirit. Trust the great mystery. Yeah, during these uncertain times, it can feel like we just don't know where we're going, right? But whale reminds us to trust that great mystery, that it is all working out just as it should. And just, I'm just thinking about, maybe it's because I'm so warm, I want to dive into some water and cool off. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Trust the great mystery. So I'm going to end with this quote today that I thought was very fitting for this too. And I keep being called to something somebody else said, a group that I'm part of that I really loved, that I loved it so much I printed it out on a piece of paper and I've got it on my door leaving my room and I've got it on my computer and I'm just feeling called to say, trust the sacred slow. There is really no need to rush. Going back to turtle spirit again, go at your own pace. Allow yourself to go at your own pace. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. And to end with this quote, never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace for anything whatsoever, even if your world seems upset. And that's by St. Francis de Sales. So that is the reading for full moon and solstice. I hope you enjoyed that and have a great weekend and rest of your week. Take good, gentle care, I like to say, and I will see you again soon. Bye.